Hello everyone, today we're doing another round of Undertale boss battles, I think it's called. Yeah, that's the name. We're doing another round of this as we are going to be fighting Undying. We're going to fight Undying and hopefully I'm going to get stronger. If I can get strong enough, maybe I can do the more difficult game modes. For the time being though, it is Undying the Undying who I'm striking down. Level 75, I'm pretty close to 100. I just need 25 more levels and then I'll have the maximum amount of health that levels will provide. I think I was advised to not purchase the Temi armor, so I guess I shouldn't buy that. I mean, it looks like it has its merit, but if someone says don't buy it, maybe I should trust them. Now, Undying is going to be a pain and not die instantly. It takes a little bit to kill her. Not too long, but a little while. So we're just gonna slice Undying up, and hopefully we'll go to level 77. That'd make my life way easier. Let's see. We're level 75. Where does it take me? 76? Yeah, I figured. Alright, so if all goes well, I suppose I'm just 24 Undying kills away, right? Maybe a little more. Let's head over. Thankfully, every time we kill Undying and level up, our damage goes up as well. So maybe we'll actually kill Undying even faster. Right now it's 675. Let's just keep swinging. And soon enough, Undying will be fish food. We can put Undying in a little can of tuna. And we can have tuna fish. We can have a tuna fish sandwich instead of an Undying. You know, Frisk could have found life a lot easier if that was the solution. I don't know, Flowey could have done that. Speaking of Flowey is a super interesting character. Like, we know that Flowey's killed everyone, but one thing that's noteworthy is that we see no evidence that Flowey has actually killed anyone in Undertale, right? So that suggests that Flowey probably did not permanently kill anyone, which probably goes into Flowey regarding himself as above consequences. After all, you can just revive anyone you kill, so you didn't really kill anyone, did you? That's probably Flowey's perspective, which means that's probably part of why Flowey is so easily able to, well, kill, right? Nothing's permanent, so you're not really killing them. You're almost kind of just knocking them out for a period. That's an interesting way to think about it, but yeah, that's probably how Flowey regards it. Even when they kill the human, they aren't really planning on permanently killing the human. They can just reset them over and over. Of course, that could just be because, they think the human's Chara. Maybe if Toriel didn't show up, Flowey would have permanently killed Frisk. Maybe. I know some people have tried suggesting to me that maybe Flowey was around when any of the previous humans were alive, but I don't really buy the idea, just on the basis of why would Flowey have not taken their soul? And also, that's like the simpler thing. How would Flowey have reset if a human was around? Because that implies that Flowey has more determination than a full human. And if Flowey had more determination than a human soul, then Flowey would have been able to break the barrier after getting the 6 souls from Asgore. Flowey wouldn't have needed the monsters. Pretty much no matter how you look at it, Flowey could not have been around before the 7th human died. Because remember, Frisk is technically the 8th human because Chara was a thing. And that brings up other implications. Like the fact that then you can probably infer that Althys had never seen a human before, or like in person, of course, before Frisk. But I mean, look at Alfie's behavior. She doesn't really strike you as the type of person who's seen humans before. That kind of goes into very, very early fan creations like Undertale Yellow, where Flowey and Alphys are in it, which I don't know, I don't really buy the idea. Obviously, it's a fan creation, but it's supposed to take place before Undertale, like a theoretical canon. Let's see, we're just going to kill Undyne. And in Undertale Yellow, you save with Flowey, which really makes it seem strange. Like, Flowey then could kill the human at their own discretion. Flowey probably would have brought up to Frisk, who they perceive as Chara, in one of the runs if they had encountered a human. Just seems like a strange thing for them to not bring up. Oh yeah, I had a human around. Anyway, back to Flowey. Flowey just strikes me as a super interesting character and what they can do. I think I've brought up how a Undyne as Flowey can just do so much. Because Undyne takes things in a very direct approach, a Undyne Flowey means just being pursued across the whole ruins. I think, and then of course you have other versions of Undyne Floweys. Like that's one of my favorites. So just them hunting Char or Undyne. Are you okay? You were flying, just chasing the human down. There was one, I think it was called Strange Placements, that had a particularly interesting Undyne Flowey. However, unfortunately, uh, that one, despite being super interesting, I don't think it made it past the runes. Like they made the caretaker boss fight, which was Muffet, and it, despite being an old AU, is also AU is also one of the ones that had party members. The party members in AU, minor spoilers, Papyrus takes the role of Napstablook. So if I recall, most of the runes is a party member system with Undyne Flowey. So Undyne's Flowey, Papyrus is Napstablook, and they're both teaming up with Frisk. And that kind of leads into the boss fight with Muffet, where some fun things happen. I doubt any of you will read it, but I still don't want to spoil it for the very small possibility that someone decides to read it. I think the Strange Placements author has expressed interest in making Strange Placements a write-up similar to like Story Shift to make it easier since then you don't have to worry about visuals. And I'm down for that. I've found plenty of stories that I've read and enjoyed. That being said, visuals can always potentially enhance things. They aren't required. I was not big on the Story Shift write-up, however. I found the comic more interesting. That might just been because I don't know. I just couldn't get into the write-up. It's kind of like how that one AU that I won't name had a pretty interesting comic, especially with editing. It almost was like quality of an animation. Almost. It wasn't actually an animation. But like put that and then you shift into like a write-up format, and in each iteration of it, it's just kind of using same jokes with slight changes and they keep rebooting it. That one's a particularly interesting case though. Alright, let's keep killing Undying. So on the subject of interesting AUs, we can talk about Inverted Fate Flowey. Inverted Fate Flowey is a schemer, alright. A schemer. You know, one thing I'm curious about, because Dorks has brought up how Chara is working with Flowey on the basis, or like it is begrudgingly working with Flowey on the basis that there's not really another way to free the monsters. But I'm wondering, if say Undyne absorbed the 6 human souls, right? Who says that Undyne wouldn't be able to absorb the monster souls? I know that on paper, monsters can't absorb monster souls, but 6 souls might be able to allow Undyne to just bypass that rule, and also maybe Undyne could like absorb the monster souls into the human souls. So I think hypothetically it could be possible. That being said, Chara knows for a fact that Flowey's plan can work. But on the other hand, right, why would Chara want to risk Flowey gaining that power? I feel like the ideal thing would probably be for Chara to try to get another monster to absorb the souls and see if they can like absorb the monsters and save everyone. But I guess who would Chara trust with risking this whole thing? Maybe Papyrus. Papyrus would probably be like the candidate most willing to try something insane and also be trusted. But yeah, I don't think that's a very likely thing for Chara to think of. Like, let's just get another monster absorb the souls. Um, huh? Kind of an interesting concept though. What if Chara did that? Anyway, this map is bugged. There is a giant stone block where Undyne's supposed to be. That's better. Now there is not a giant stone block where Undyne is supposed to be. But let's see, other AUs of interesting Flowies. You have TS Underswap, where the Flowey, the AU, seems to be Temmie, but then it still has a Flowey. Where it's the Temmie seems to be the Flowey, the AU, but it still has a Flowey. That has very interesting implications because I think Temmie is a doll, or maybe that's other iterations of Underswap. Either way, if I remember right, it seems like Flowey and Temmie probably have determination. I think I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember very well, so maybe there aren't implications to both having determination. But if they do both have determination, there are a lot of wonderful questions. Like, where is Azriel? Is that Monster Kid Flowey or is it Azriel Flowey? And they might have answered these questions, but I don't follow it enough, so I'm just like, time to theorize. Beyond that, I remember in the genocide, there's this one frogget that'll like run away from you every time you get close. I remember I found a way to get up to the frogget. Like I was chasing it for a while. No staff member of the Discord was answering when I'd ask like, "Hey, how do you kill the flower or the frogget when you catch it?" But yeah, I eventually caught it, and then I was told that you aren't supposed to be able to catch it. That was fun. I was really working at it, strategically planning on how to catch the frogget via analyzing the whole chase. I managed it, but it wasn't an intended mechanic, so I didn't get anything out of it. Would have been cool if it was. I like it whenever in these genocide modes in the fan games you can just do wild things like just kind of disregard game mechanic rules and attack in ways you shouldn't be able to. Oh, speaking of genocide routes, I heard that Delta Traveler is going to have an obliteration mode. I've seen like thumbnails from some person who got to play Section 2 early, and I was just internally really jealous. Like, you get to play it early? I want to play it early. Why don't you go to the small channel that you've never heard of in your life? Come on, you should check every single person on the planet and make sure they also don't want to like do it early. Yeah, maybe one day I'll be big enough that like the games I'm super into will let me play them early. I think for Security Breach, people got to do that. I imagine that if I was big enough for that, I'd probably also have a computer that could get the game. Seriously, why was Security Breach like 150 gigabytes? That's so much. Like that is so much. I get that the game was incredibly unoptimized and chances are the developers were rushed on releasing it, but still. I remember like watching an interview where they were talking about how yeah, the game will probably get its size lowered once they can actually work on that, implying that they know it's a problem, but they're releasing it anyway. And there are two guesses, right? It's either the publisher or whatever pushing them, or someone related to the publishing, or the game developers just purposely want to release a bad game. Yeah, it's not it probably not going to be the developers. I mean, I guess I wouldn't call it bad, but if you can't play the game due to its size, that's pretty noteworthy. Kind of wish we could normalize giving developers more time on games. Like, I have complete faith in Toby Fox delivering something wonderful with Deltarune, and I want it to be wonderful, so I'm willing to wait years. If Toby Fox said tomorrow that Deltarune Chapter 7 is coming out along with all the other chapters, I have faith in Toby Fox, but I would be very skeptical because it would sound like it was rushed. I almost kind of like the idea of it taking years because then I can be sure that it'll probably be a high quality product. And since I'm a huge Undertale fan, I'll probably pay any price Toby asks for. If Toby comes out and asks for like hundreds, I'll go, oh my gosh, Toby, you're extorting me, and then pay every single bit. Toby Fox can extort me if he wants. If Toby Fox released a 150 gigabyte game, I'd probably respond by buying a brand new computer with the space and buy the game on top of it. I'm sorry, I'm basically a simp for Toby Fox. Toby Fox, please become a streamer. That way I can properly simp. Alright, that aside. Oh, did you all know that Temmie Chang has a channel? I've watched some of her clips she's posted on there. She also like sings. Honestly, it'd be kind of I'm not sure if funny is the right word. Interesting, amusing, if like she became a full idol. It definitely interesting, but that might mean that Temmie couldn't do art for Undertale. That'd be a bit sad. Let's see. There we go. Another round. Either way, though, if you like to support Undertale, maybe you would also like to support Temmie Chang. I think she's done a collab with Pikami, maybe one or two other people. Let's kill Undying again. Alright, Undying, I'm going to slash you. Yeah, uh, did I mention that Temmie Chang's also a VTuber? Yeah, I think it's all pretty neat. When I first learned about it, I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised when Temmie made it her own game, and then shortly afterwards, at least for me, learning about um, Escaped Chasm, Dweller's Empty Path. I don't think came out too much later. I can't say that I liked either game too incredibly. Um, Personally, I think I prefer Toby Fox's writing over Tummy's. But again, I like supporting the people involved with Undertale, so chances are if Tummy made any more games, I'd still check them out just on the basis of they made Undertale, and I don't know. Undertale has been a very prominent thing since it came out in 2015 for me. And I mean, look at the channel, right? I'm playing an Undertale game right now. And let me tell you that this gets stale pretty quick. I'm not even sure why I'm recording Undertale gameplay right now. I mean, honestly, I don't have anything else I want to record. And since I don't have anything I want to record, I'm just playing an RPG game that's fairly mindless while speaking about various things. This will probably raise my view count just because it's Undertale, and that's a hurdle I'm going to need to address. Because chances are one day I'm not going to be doing Undertale. One day. The problem is the consequences of those actions. But yeah, that's all discussions for another day. Now I wonder if Toby Fox feels any pressure. I mean, Toby Fox was initially pretty nervous about getting a lot of fame and attention. And Toby Fox really does have so many eyes. Like people of play, you have one person giving the Pope a copy of Undertale and then like a band playing Megalovania for them. In general, it's just spread across the world to have such an influence. That is a lot of pressure. I'm imagining Toby Fox feels like he needs to deliver. Either way, whatever Toby Fox releases, I have complete trust in Toby Fox for it to be good, which is why I don't believe Chris is the knight. No matter how I think about it, it seems absurd. And besides the tons of evidence, I just kind of have faith in Toby Fox for the mystery. Like, there's no way that it's Chris. I'm sorry. Also, one terminology I just don't like is calling anyone who opens a fountain a knight, saying that they're not the knight, but they're a knight. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. A person who opens a fountain. You're just going to call them the knight. How is it that people who see the knight identify them as the knight? Clearly, there is a criteria they're meeting. Like, unless the knight is walking up to everyone and going, "Hello, I am the knight." And I doubt that because the queen definitely didn't get a chance to talk to them. There must be a feature. I can see why people might think that it's opening fountains, but I don't think there's anything that actually confirms that the knight made the chapter 1 fountain. My memory is hazy, but yeah, I don't think the knight was confirmed to have made that fountain. So chances are it's something more visual. Chances are they have an outfit that makes them look like a knight to people. So I don't know. I'm not sold on the idea that just anyone who makes a fountain is automatically a knight. Now, on the other hand, there's a certain theory that suggests that the knight might be taken down earlier on and then someone might become the knight. But specifically, I'm imagining that the knight is an actual identity. And again, there's some sort of very specific criteria. Maybe the knight is an individual who wants to bring ruin, then maybe, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just 100% off on this, and I'm contradicting myself as I'm speaking. Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me. But either way, I see it as right now there's just one night, and if Chris makes the fountain like they do in chapter 2, right at the end, they did not make the cyber world fountain, and no matter what you tell me, I refuse to believe you. There's too much strange stuff around it, like the fact that Chris was with Susie when the fountain was made. Why didn't Susie comment on the fact that Chris made a fountain right in front of them off screen? Maybe it's because it didn't happen and someone else made it. Why would Toby Fox bring up all these details? I think the best way to regard the Chris is the Knight theory is that anyone who actually looks through the proof and says Chris is the Knight does not have faith in Toby Fox as a writer. Like, from what I understand about mysteries, one of the big rules of a mystery is to not have random nonsense that goes nowhere, right? If it's part of the main story. Obviously, most stories are going to have some loose ends. That's fine. No story is going to be completely perfect. But that would be like if in Undertale you never learn that Flowey was Asriel. That would be a really weird thing to bring up. Or in Undertale you never meet Asgore. Again, that'd be really weird. In the case of Deltarune, right? There's a ton of things kind of making you wonder who is the knight? And with that in mind, since the knight's identity is so important to the story, and simultaneously, while the knight's important to the story, there is what is it? Well, the knight is important to the story. There's tons of evidence suggesting an individual that's not Chris is the knight, then you would have to not trust Toby as a writer to go that Toby Fox is making a ton of fake evidence to trick people into thinking that Chris is the knight. Why would Toby Fox want to do that? I can understand fake outs of some kind. Like one theory that Chris is just causing like a what was it, a gas leak? They stabbed a pipe. But I mean, come on, that's a fountain. That would also be very, very random. Let's see. I'm supposed to fight Toby? Isn't that right? Where is Toby? But yeah, when Deltarune Chapter 2's ending first happened, I will say it's reasonable that someone without analyzing things could, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, make the incorrect conclusion that Chris is the knight. That's reasonable. I mean, just think about the situation that was there, right? You just saw Chris make a fountain. They have a bunch of suspicious things going on. That's what happens when you analyze it, right? You move closer towards the truth of the matter. Okay, so you have 150,000 health. Hmm. Oh, you just moved. Why are you, do I seriously have to bring you to 0 health? How am I going to do that? Okay, no, I'm not ready. Kill me. Oh, wait, I can reset. Actually, I might just end off here just because we're about to hit 30 minutes. And I'll do the rest next time. I think we had a pretty good objective here. I hope you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.